Welcome to an unboxing video, my very first one here with BC, and I'm going to do a game that I just got in the mail, so I'm pretty excited to do this. This game is my first ever Kickstarter too, which is really kind of cool for me. It is USS Laffey, the ship that would not die. So why would I do this as a Kickstarter? Well, it is a solo game for one thing. It just caught my attention. I checked it out. It was pretty cheap. I think it was $35. So went in for a hard copy here. They sent me the PNP files pretty quickly, maybe a couple weeks after it ended. It wasn't too long at all. This, though, is pretty cool to have the hard copy of it. It is by a company called, I don't know if you can see that, Catastrophe Games. And by the way, this camera, this is my first ever webcam, so this might look terrible. So if it does, I apologize in advance. But here you go. USS Laffey, the ship that would not die. New in shrink. Hopefully I don't screw this video up because I don't like having to redo these. Actually, you can't even do it once it's unwrapped, so that would be an issue. Duh. All right. So I remember they had posted in the group that they would be having a pad outside of the box because it doesn't fit inside the box. So not a big deal. This is apparently about 50 pages of one side of the destroyer. So those of you that do not know what this is the USS Laffey, the destroyer that was on picket duty in Okinawa, in the oceans off Okinawa, during the invasion of said island in 1945. And it was on station on point number 1, I believe, which was the northernmost radar point and therefore the one closest to the Japanese home island. So it was going to take a lot of attention from the incoming kamikaze raids, unfortunately. And I believe it was hit by 6 kamikaze planes. It took some bomb damage. It was strafed. Quite a few sailors were killed, unfortunately, but it did not sink. Pretty an amazing story in and of itself. You go check it out online. So this game seeks to recreate that. So let's open this up and see what we got here. Okay, cool. So we do have some plastic minis. Let's see how well you could see that. Let me pull them out of here. There's a couple of damage control markers, which are the blue figures. And then the aircraft, I'm not quite sure what they are for. Ooh, they're stuck together. There we go. All right, so let me move this up to the camera so you can see them a little bit better. There we go. The crew look like just like naval personnel in World War II in battle stations gear. I don't know if you can see that on this camera or not. They've got a helmet on and looks like a life jacket. It's hard to tell. The Japanese aircraft, I can't tell if that's residue on there or what, but it looks like a 0. I think it's a 0. And again, I apologize if the quality on this camera is terrible. And then that is an American fighter. I believe that is a Wildcat, perhaps. Okay. So those are the markers. Now we've got dice. We got lots and lots of dice. We got pencils. Oh yeah, that's right. Colored pencils for marking the sheet for incoming damage and shooting down Japanese planes. These are all colored, different colors, I believe. That's kind of interesting. Very cheap, but, I understand keeping costs down. That's not a problem. Hell, you can find these pretty inexpensively anywhere if you really wanted to use them. Or if you had extra, or you had extra pads and extra games that you were buying and you ran out of these. Yellow, that just sank down there. Brown, blue, green, purple, and red, it looks like. So that's cool. And we've got other markers as well. It looks like in a rather large bag. Okay, so we've got 2 blue block markers, 1 red block and 1 green block. And I've seen these in the game, in the demo, and I can't remember what they go to. 1 6-sided die. We've got 6 10-sided die and 1 6 yellow 10-sided die and 1 red 10-sided die. There we go. Always a fan of having a lot of dice. And then we have the rule manual. which is, as you can see, done in a kind of a comic book format, which really I found endearing, actually. And I believe they cited their sources for using this stuff. First thing I thought was, well, they have the rights to this kind of thing, but apparently they do. So they got it from different sources where I don't know if they licensed it. I can't remember, or if it was free sources or what. I believe some of it was free sources. But anyway, let's take a look at the book here. So it's a very interesting manual, full color. As you can see, it's kind of glossy. Well, it's not kind of glossy. It is glossy. But it's not quite like thick like a magazine. It's a little thin, but that's not too big a deal because it's really not that thick of a rule book. I don't think you'd be spending a lot of time flipping through it either because the play is pretty straightforward. I could not explain it now because I haven't seen that since I saw the playthrough video, which sold me on the game, but I know that I liked what I saw and I know how it played pretty well there. Lots of iconography. I'm a big fan of it as long as it's done right. So we'll see once I get this game through its paces. More iconography. Too much can be too much, though, so we'll see how that goes. There's Japanese planes over there. They have different icons on them, and you have to get those icons, I believe, to shoot them down or make sure they don't attack in the next round. It's a very interesting game, mostly of damage control, but there is some work you need to do besides that, I believe. Looks like we've got different levels of challenge at different officers' ranks there. And cooperative gameplay. Looks like you can play co-op if you want. And then the ship itself is actually a museum. It's in, I want to say it's Charleston Harbor, but that's not correct. I think it's called... Oh, it is Charleston Harbor. I'm so sorry. Yes. So it's right across from Charleston on the eastern side of Charleston Harbor. I can't remember what the name of that area is called. Mission something. I shouldn't say. I don't know. But it's right next to the USS Yorktown, which is really cool. It looks like that would be an awesome day trip to check out. And I believe that the organizers of this game were looking to try to get a day for players of this game to actually play it on the USS Laffey, which would be really cool. Too bad I can't do that. I'm way too far away. So anyway, there's the rulebook. And here is the other sheet, or book of sheets, I should say. So these go together, each game. Instead of doing 111 by 17, they did 2 8.5 by 11. I know they talked about this design choice in the Kickstarter, but again, I can't recall what it was. But this doesn't bother me. I kind of like this, actually. It gives me a little more room to maneuver things around if I want to. So we've got the kamikaze track. These are all the kamikaze planes that will come in and attack. And then you've got your different compartments on the submarine, different hit statuses, and damage levels that can be taken before they're destroyed. And I believe I think it's 2 sections, 2 compartments are destroyed, you lose, something like that. It's not that much. So you could see that there's quite a few places that they can strike and cause you some damage. And we've got actions over here as well that you keep track of that you can do, such as bridge actions. I believe you're mitigating damage that way or clearing the skies of enemy aircraft. Different things you can do. But I believe that the choices you have are limited, and you always, as any good game does, gives you more to do than you really can do. So you're deliberating, I should say, on exactly what you should do. So there's that. And here's the back of the box in the same kind of comic format. I do like that design. And so that's it. Unboxing of USS Laffey, the ship that would not die. A game of damage control aboard the destroyer of the same name during the Okinawa campaign in 1945 as they fought off kamikaze and air attacks. Thank you for watching. There will be more coming soon.